This is freaking impossible.
More people have walked on the moon than scored on Mariano in the playoffs.
Are we in a commercial break yet or what?
We're playing this whole game under protest because it's preposterous.
You have to stop. You have to pick four.
When he first broke in, he was wilder than hell.
Can you two experts pick between those three?
Am I the only one who voted Koufax?
Do I have any time left for me or what? What's going on here?
Let's get into some Polymarket stuff. Polymarket's saying that there's a 24% chance that the MLB World Series 2026 will be the Dodgers again.
They're not beating the Cubs this year.
The Cubs aren't even on the list.
Wow.
In terms of prediction, we got...
I mean, I think Bregman is really, teaching these guys a lot of stuff. We've got a great pitching crew as everybody stays healthy. All right, let me hear this.
We got the Padres,
Let me hear this bullshit.
We got the Padres at 9%. We got the Yankees at 8%. We got the Mariners at 7%. We got the Mets at 6%. I mean, at some point, you got to be...
I can't even believe the Cubs are not on this list.
It's unbelievable, right?
Yeah, it's wrong.
Somebody's got to talk to Jordan. I think he curated this list. He cut the Cubs off.
I'm not doing this. I'm not, unless the Cubs are on the list, I'm not doing it. And they have to have a number for the Cubs. But if you're a logical person in this marketplace, thinking that the Dodgers will be back in the World Series with what they just picked up and their current roster, I think that's a low number at 26.
I agree. I'm thinking I'm putting my money on the Dodgers.
I'm putting my money on the Cubs.
You're putting your heart on the Cubs.
No, I'm putting my money on the Cubs.
Sometimes you got to separate church and state.
Okay.
Cubs at 4%. Okay, you taking that market?
I'm taking that market. Okay.
What was the first game, whether you're a broadcaster, a young kid, that you recall kind of, and that got you hooked on the sport?
My father took me to Ebbets Field when I was 6 or 7 years old, so that would have been 1950 or 51. I saw the Cardinals play the Dodgers. I saw Jackie Robinson with my own eyes.
They weren't the LA Dodgers, were they?
And Stan Musial.
Brooklyn. Yeah.
Stan Musial.
This was in Brooklyn. We lived within walking distance of Ebbets Field. We walked to Ebbets Field in 1950 or 51, and that was it for me. I said, I want to be here every day for the rest of my life. It may have been Don Newcomb. It may have been. I try to find the exact game. It's hard to find that exact game.
Now, did he teach you how to fill in the card and kind of?
Absolutely. First thing he did, my father had a scorecard. He taught me how to keep score, and I did that for the rest of my life. Oh yeah.
First of all, Ben doesn't understand what a scorecard is. You should explain it.
Okay, I understand a scorecard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
not the same thing as a score book, Ben.
Yeah.
Scorecard.
And Bob, what was your first game?
My dad took me to a game at the Polo Grounds, and I only remember the atmospherics. It was the year that the Giants and Dodgers left, 1957. First game I remember, 1959, Saturday, second to last day of the regular season. One of the few years the Yankees didn't win the pennant.
Because they had won 5 in a row, right?
They won 5 World Series in a row, 49 to 53. And then they won the next 5 pennants in a row, 60 to 64. But they didn't win in 59. The White Sox did. And final score, Orioles 7 and Yankees 2. But the real heartache was not that the Yankees lost, but that Mantle didn't play. Johnny Blanchard hit a homer. Brooks Robinson hit a homer. 7-2 Baltimore.
Why didn't Mantle play?
He was hurt
or
hungover. I don't know.
I'm just finishing this book called Legends, which is about the history of the owners of the NFL. And back then, baseball was so much bigger. So much bigger. And they had just tried to figure out how to put the hash lines in between. They were, unlike college, they permitted a lot of substitutions. College didn't. That then they started, I think it was back in 58, they started in football having defensive coaches and offensive coaches.
Right.
And they because college football was the big sport. Unlike the pros, not the college.
Bigger than, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, it's illegal. They only had 12 teams. I mean, going back to 1958, if you can look at the schedule in 1958, which was the year we moved to Los Angeles, I followed the Dodgers, became a Rams fan. They had 100,470 in the Coliseum on November 2nd, 1958, against your Bears. You can look it up. George Halas against Sid Gilman.
Wow.
Right? 41-35. Rams won the game. They had 100,470. But in those years, the teams played 12 regular season games and 6 preseason games. 6.
Wow.
But only one postseason game. The winner of the Western Conference played the winner of the Eastern Conference. One game, and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
East against West, yep.
I mean, these guys just barely survived.
Take a look.
After the first Super Bowl, I think it was the first Super Bowl.
67.
It was so dynamic. It was the Colts game, right?
No, the first Super Bowl was Kansas City against Green Bay. I was there.
Okay. So now we're doing Rushmore pitchers. Between the two of you, because you probably have already talked about this, which one of you wants to go first? Which is going to influence the other people.
But I'm going to go first and say this. This is freaking impossible. Even if you went by eras, it's impossible. I have a list. I'm discounting.
The only thing that's impossible, Bob, is the fourth choice.
No. Not in this case. Not in this case. I'm telling you, okay? Before we even get to the four, here are those worthy of consideration, which leaves out 300-game winners, multiple Cy Young Award winners, any active guys like Verlander and Scherzer. Here are the guys worthy of consideration from the dead ball era and overlapping. Walter Johnson.
Ben, are you writing?
I'm not writing his 25 other names.
Okay. Walter Johnson, Cy Young, Christy Mathewson, jump ahead a little bit. Lefty Grove, Bob Feller, Satchel Paige has to be in there somewhere. Warren Spahn, Koufax, Gibson, Whitey Ford, Tom Seaver, Juan Marichal, Steve Carlton, Greg Maddux, Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, Clayton Kershaw.
Can you believe this,
That's
Al?
like 17 guys.
Okay, you have to stop. You have to pick four.
Yeah, but it's impossible.
Yeah, it's possible.
That's why it's going to be a bonanza, Bob.
Yeah.
All right, if that's the case,
Al, can you believe this?
This is ridiculous.
Yes,
this
I've
is
been
just
with Bob
ridiculous.
before. Yes, I
This
can.
is just ridiculous. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one from roughly, I've divided them into four eras.
Okay.
And therefore I'm going to pick one, but I'm lodging a protest. I'm playing this whole game under protest because it's preposterous. All right.
Or you should introduce Bob and Jimmy because they got a lot in common.
Yeah, it's like unbelievable.
Between Walter Johnson, okay, with his 110 shutouts and career ERA of 2.17, Cy Young with his 511 wins, and Christy Mathewson, who won 34 times with a high of 37, had a career
I don't know
ERA
who that
of
is. Excuse my ignorance.
Between those three, I'm going with Walter Johnson from, generally speaking, the dead ball era. Now we skip ahead.
Hold on one second. I've not heard that phrase, or I might have heard it and I don't understand it.
The dead ball era?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Don't look. Make that face that I don't understand it.
Even I know this. Even I know this.
I'm sorry.
The lively ball is roughly 1920 when they actually changed the composition of the ball. Babe Ruth changed from pitcher to hitter, and home runs jumped. Used to be able to lead the league with 9, 11 home runs. Home runs jumped in the 1920s. The game changed from one base at a time. The game that Ty Cobb dominated became the game.
Was the ball heavier? What did they do to the ball?
The ball had a livelier cork center.
Got it.
And they would like not. It wouldn't give new balls. The catcher wouldn't give new balls. Umps wouldn't give new balls. So like the ball was dying. The spit balls were still allowed. People were like greasing the ball.
That's all true. That's all true. And ERAs, a lot of pitchers had ERAs that would be eye-popping today. A lot of pitchers had ERAs under 2 in some of those years. So I'm going to go with Walter Johnson under protest. Now, we got to go to...
You don't have to say under protest. We all get it.
Lefty
are we in a commercial break yet or what?
No, we're not yet.
All right. Okay.
I'm giving you my 4.
Okay. Go.
Lefty Grove, 300 wins on the nose. Bob Feller in the majors at 17. Had a season where he struck out like 300-plus guys in an era when no one struck out. And it was a disgrace to strike out. So we got Feller, Warren Spahn, 13 20-game winning seasons, 363 wins, most ever by a left-hander. Didn't even, because of World War II, win any games until he was like 26, 27 years old. Or Satchel Paige, who knows how many games he won. Just on the basis of legendary status.
Wasn't there a guy doing all that statistics on the
Negro Leagues?
Yeah, the Negro Leagues.
Yeah, they've done a deep dive.
Yeah.
They're incomplete records, but they've gotten more than they used to have.
Yeah.
I'm going with Satchel Paige. Okay?
Wow.
Now, you jump ahead. Koufax, Gibson, Seaver, Marichal, Carlton. Impossible, but Koufax. Okay? Koufax at his peak was probably, Whitey Ford's in there too. Koufax at his peak is probably the guy you pick. But Gibson, Seaver, Marichal. Juan Marichal, by the way, had one more complete game than he had victories. He won 243 games. He had 244 complete games. He had seasons of 21-8, 25-6, 21-11, 26-9, and never won the Cy Young because of Gibson, because of Seaver, because of Koufax. Incredible. All right, now.
You're fourth.
Now we're on the more modern guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I have any time left for me or what?
Oh, yeah, you're going to have plenty of time.
After this. The guys worthy of consideration.
That will never happen, him shutting up after this.
The guys worthy of consideration are Maddux, 4 in a row Cy Youngs, 355 wins.
You know, and the Cubs trade him when he gets his first Cy Young, I think it was.
That is also correct.
It's so effing crazy.
Roger Clemens, 7 Cy Youngs. Randy Johnson, only Nolan Ryan has more strikeouts.
More walks, though.
Nolan Ryan.
More walks.
Nolan Ryan, 7 no-hitters. A lot of walks. Okay. Clayton Kershaw, not great in the postseason, but .699 career winning percentage, 223 and 96. Career ERA, 2.53. Both are the best marks for any starting pitcher in the live ball era, which is more than a century. And then Pedro Martinez. Pedro Martinez in the late 90s and early 2000s is posting ERAs in the high 1s or low 2s.
Yes.
In a DH league, in a steroid era, pitching at Fenway Park. 1 year his ERA is 1.74. Roger Clemens is second, 2 runs higher for his ERA than Pedro Martinez. For a brief period of time.
Ben, if we did polymarket on this, I'm not sure we'd ever get a chance to kind of figure out what Bob's going to pick.
Oh, makes sense.
All right.
I'm in a coma. That's okay. Let me know what's going on here.
So out of all these guys, this is almost impossible. Almost impossible. You know, Nolan Ryan was overpowering, but the 1 loss percentage and the walks and everything else. I think Pedro at his best was the best of them. But that best doesn't
How many games
last
did you call of his?
Doesn't last as long. I'm going with Clemens.
How many games did you call of his? Clemens.
Pedro?
Yeah, and Clemens.
Not that many because I was only doing postseason games by then. Half dozen.
Right.
Half dozen. Maybe some regular season games for Pedro at the baseball network.
And you're going with Pedro or are you going with Clemens?
I'm going with Clemens. With Clemens.
All right, we got Bob is Satchel Paige, Koufax, Walter Johnson, and Roger Clemens.
You're going even with Roger Clemens with all the questionable about the...
Yeah, because it's just overwhelming. The strikeouts, the Cy Youngs, et cetera, it's overwhelming.
Al, you can wake up. It's your turn.
I've got 45 seconds. Walter Johnson, because I'm picking one guy out of that era, right? So we never saw these guys on television. You know, this is in the 20s.
How big was he?
So it's what?
How big was he?
He was. They called him the Big Train, for what it's worth. Who knows? But Walter Johnson would be the guy with all of the the shutouts from that era. I mean, you could pick Cy Young too.
How can you not pick Cy Young? It's named after him
because he lost 315 games in addition to winning. It's a different era, totally. You move ahead, Koufax, who I saw with mine own eyes many times pitching. Sandy, absolutely out of that era. The 5 years that he had, because he was just he was exciting.
How many pitches did he have?
Pitcher. How many what?
How many different pitches did he have?
Oh God, this is in the years before the sweeper and all this other bullshit
There's
that's
2
out there right now. Come on,
he had the curveball and the fastball.
Whatever he had, change up. But he knew how to work the plate. I mean, remember when he first broke in, he was wilder than hell. He was a wild horse, and he broke in at Ebbets Field. Came out here, and then all of a sudden, he was the guy who on any given night could pitch a no-hitter, which he pitched 4, including a perfect game, or strike out 18, which he did, and that was a major thing at that particular point.
Was college baseball big back then?
College baseball was getting large, but I mean, compared to the majors, no, nothing. It wasn't like the difference between college football and pro football. No, not even close.
Yeah.
But then you go through, and Bob talked about all the guys, the Randy Johnsons of the world, the Roger Clemens, the Bob Gibsons of the world, Nolan Ryan. I'm going to throw in another name here, a great pal of mine and a former broadcast partner, Jim Palmer. Belongs in that. Jim Palmer, don't forget,
Yes.
Jim Palmer, before he was 21 years old, won the second game of the World Series at Dodger Stadium as the Orioles beat the Dodgers. He shut out Sandy Koufax in Game 2 of the 1966 World Series. So throw him in there.
Well, can I ask you guys a question? You guys have seen them all, the whole eras. Hold on one second.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
I got to get, this is number 3. So I'm going with Randy Johnson. Don't ask me why, but no, he's part of a whole group here. And then because I wanted to throw a relief.
So we have the big train
there.
and the big unit.
Well, I want a relief pitcher in there. Remember, I got a guy from the olden days. I got Koufax, who's to me a standalone guy. I got Johnson from this whole other era with all of these guys who are fantastic. And then I wanted a bullpen guy, so I'm throwing Mariano Rivera in there. Of course. You know, he beats out Trevor Hoffman. Think about this. Trevor Hoffman had over 600 saves. Mariano had not. I mean, you could throw Trevor Hoffman into this mix, and nobody would know who the hell we're talking about.
Nobody would know that.
You know, I took it as only starting pitchers, but if you're picking this is what's interesting, right? We got 15 to 20 names that you could conceivably put in this argument. But if you say who's the greatest relief pitcher of all time, there's an argument 2 through 10, but there's no argument about one. That's Mariano Rivera. So
there you go.
So Al,
but can I ask you guys a question?
There you go.
Why is it now they barely can get past 5 innings?
The game has changed. I mean,
so explain that.
If these analytics came in and all this bullshit, and they bring guys in,
why is it bullshit?
Throw as hard as you can for as long as you can, which is normally like 20 pitches or something like that. If we did this podcast in 20 years, you know what the Mount Rushmore would be? Bullpens. Who has the greatest 8-man bullpens of all time?
I mean, on teams.
That's where the game is right now. I don't like it. I'm sure Bob is not crazy about it, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, but it's not like as if, the big train wasn't throwing it hard. Maybe he's not at 99.
All right. I mean, what are we talking about here? These guys were in there pitching before black and white television. It bears
but
no
if you talk to Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth, they would say this guy hurled it.
This brings up a number of points. One, everything's relative. So let's say Walter Johnson was throwing 90, but everyone else was throwing 80 or 82. That 90 looked like blazing speed to those hitters. So in his time, Walter Johnson, who, by the way, to answer your earlier question, I looked it up, was 6'1" and 200.
Wow.
Yamamoto turned that whole thing about not going the distance on its head a little bit in this postseason, and everybody loved it.
Yeah. Because it's like, you can't get them past, 5.5 innings. It's crazy. It's actually great. Ben?
Well, just speaking of Walter Johnson, you keep discussing Walter as a dead ball era pitcher, but he kind of played through 27, 28, right? Like
it overlaps. I think he started like in 07 or something like that. And
he had 417 wins, something like that? It was a crazy number.
110 shutouts, like the most insane.
110 shutouts. Most of the time, the Senators were terrible, but he was great. They did get to the World Series a couple of times in the mid-20s, but he was their star, but the rest of the time they weren't very good. Here's an interesting stat about Tom Seaver, who wouldn't disgrace any Mount Rushmore if you put him on it. Tom Seaver's career winning percentage relative to the winning percentages of the teams for which he pitched, because the Mets were not that good most of the time, Cincinnati, the White Sox, that is the largest gap, at least the last time I checked, which was a few years ago, the largest gap of any Hall of Fame pitcher between the winning percentage of his winning percentage and the winning percentages of the teams for which he pitched. If it's not any Hall of Fame pitcher, it's any pitcher like from the second half of the 20th century on.
Wow.
Okay. Well, that we've answered all your questions.
No. We have to have our opinion here. I've got a lot of your people.
Whose
Ben,
podcast is this?
Ben,
Come on.
yeah, exactly.
Pretty soon it's going to be ours, Ala. We're out of here.
You go.
Right, we're done.
You go. Because we're going to fight here now.
We're going to fight. All right. Walter Johnson feels kind of undeniable to me. Randy Johnson also feels undeniable. I mean, besides Nolan, most strikeouts ever, far more efficient. Just 6'10", 6'9", 6'10", just like the most overwhelming beast on the mound. And
it seems as if he made the 90 feet into 80 when he pitched because he's so tall.
First of all, it's 60 feet. It's 60 feet. It's not 90
I mean, 60, sorry.
Right.
4,875 strikeouts.
Sorry. Okay, I was thinking about first. Shut up.
Bob, what are we doing here?
I have no idea.
Ray Nelson won 4 Cy Youngs.
Who?
Starting at 35 years old. Just insane. Pedro Martinez. I just can't. Obviously, you guys are going to say this is my youth bias, and I only know what I know, but the steroid era is a different era of pitching. I mean, different era of hitting. And I think Bob's point on the dead ball era is paramount.
That's why you can't go with Clemens?
Well, Clemens is a great conversation, but that's why Clemens is on the list, because he was pitching against the greatest hitters of all time, in my opinion. And
what'd you say about Paramount? I'm writing this down. Hold on. No, never mind.
Paramount is now planning a hostile takeover of this podcast.
Exactly.
Just trying to stay topical.
All right, so hit the rest of them.
Yeah, Pedro in 2000 had an ERA of 1.74, and the AL average was 4.91. Actually insane. So Pedro number 3 for me, and 4 is, I can't wait to have the reliever conversation, because I think Mariano obviously has a lot to stand on here, but Greg Maddux is making it for me, partly because, really just because Clemens on the steroid side is, I'm not even that judgmental about it, except they have very, very similar careers time-wise, innings played, and Maddux isn't, I think that the barometer, I guess the threshold, I want to have a high bar for what makes Rushmore. I do think performance-enhancing drugs for Rushmore is something that I want to be sensitive to. Overall, love Clemens. Thinks he deserves every accolade, but for this list specifically, I'm putting Maddux. As Bob said, 4 consecutive Cy Youngs.
How many rings did he have?
He had 1. He won 95 with the Braves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my list. Those are my 4.
Okay, here's mine.
So is Rivera on it or not?
No. Maddux, Pedro, Randy, Walter.
Okay, so three of them are recent guys, and then one you reach all the way back for Walter Johnson.
That's right.
I don't know how, as you know, the Big Train is incredible. It was on my list. For me, it was between the Big Train and Cy Young. I understand the stats, Bob, that you just pointed out, but it's called the Cy Young Award. So he is my excuse me. I didn't interrupt you. He's my George Washington. He is, and I understand you could compare him. I know what Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth said about the Big Train, etc. But it's named after him, so he's got to be the George Washington for me. Then I go Rivera. He is the greatest closer, except for up 3-0 against the Red Sox, blows that game. Besides that, I don't think you can't, there's no flaw. There's just no flaw.
Ninth inning, Game 7, 2001, but that only proves he's human. And there were a couple of defensive miscues, one by him, pulling Jeter off the bag on a throw, and another.
And then
a looping fly ball that fell in. Yep.
Then I'm going with Bob Gibson. He's just mean, fast, strong. He's everything to me. Mm-hmm. I remember watching him with my grandfather. And then for me, the 4th is the hardest because it's between Sandy Koufax, Greg Maddux, Tom Seaver, and Randy Johnson. And I'm going to I'm going with Greg Maddux. I just think he was the smartest guy, had multiple pitches. He just was,
He was amazing.
He was amazing.
But everyone we mentioned was amazing one way or another. So give me Al's list again.
Walter Johnson, Sandy Koufax, Randy Johnson, Mariano Rivera.
Koufax.
And Ori's is Cy, Bob Gibson, Mariano, and Maddux.
Yeah.
DJ.
Ori, have you seen that story on Maddux and Bagwell, the Maddux Bagwell anecdote?
No.
Where he threw, Bagwell wanted his pitches inside. Maddux knew it was pitching outside. Then called a pitch inside, knowing he'd homer it. So that a few weeks later, when they were in the playoffs, he'd be waiting for that pitch and throw him a change up.
He used to do that kind of stuff all the time.
Well, there was that whole report that he would call his own games based on how he would catch the ball or what he would rub his nose or his ear. That would be the slider. That would be the fastball.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the smartest pitchers of all time. So
Yep.
Also, absolutely insane.
So I guess I lose on Walter Johnson because there's 3 Walter Johnsons, 1 Cy Young.
He's in. Walter's in.
Walter Johnson's in.
Okay.
And then, even though Bob, you didn't pick the greatest reliever of all time, the 3 of us did. And I know you thought it was starting pitching.
I did, but I'm obviously not going to make an argument against it.
So that's 2.
That's 2. But Ben and I do not have Rivera.
We do not have Rivera, but
Al and I are like 1.5 each, so that makes it 3.
Listen to this Rivera stat. More people have walked on the moon than scored on Mariano in the playoffs.
Wow.
Correct.
I didn't. Where did Grok give you that? Which one gave you that?
That's ChatGPT for you.
That's ChatGPT?
That's ChatGPT.
Really? That was a hell of a prompt.
12.
Oh, God.
12 people have walked on the moon. 11 have scored runs on Mariano postseason.
That's incredible.
Insane stat.
Okay.
Who would think of that?
Yeah, exactly. He gave a prompt to that.
Steve Hurt.
No, not even Steve Hurt. Holy.
Okay.
Now, you know that the amount of people that were at the Coliseum for a game 7 years ago. So I think that people are thinking about.
So,
100,000.
So how many people, Bob? How many people picked Randy Johnson?
I had Randy. Who else got Randy?
I had Randy. I had him.
So we have
I
two
didn't have Randy.
I did
Clemens.
not either. I mean, he was on my list, but
I mean, there's a whole passel of guys you can pick any one.
Correct. Like the case for Pedro at his peak is a really good case.
Yep.
All right, I'm okay with.
Gibson.
Pedro was on my list. I just didn't mention.
I'm the only person with Pedro on there for right now.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have Pedro.
Al, didn't you have Pedro?
I did.
That's
no. I didn't. I had Rivera. Sorry.
I gotta argue for Koufax.
Let's hear
Oh
it.
yeah, 1,000%.
Because
Let's hear it.
First of all, at his peak, I think he led the league in ERA 5 straight years. He threw a no-hitter in 4 consecutive years, capped by a perfect game in 1965. He won the clinching game of 2 World Series, 1963, and then 65 on 2 days rest, a complete game shutout. You know, Gibson has that same postseason thing and a 1.12 ERA in
None of you had Gibson, you know. I just want to say.
Yeah.
Bob Gibson was incredible.
And Gibson forced them to lower the mound 5 inches the following year.
I mean, that guy changed the game.
He did.
He changed the game.
He did.
And he could, in my opinion, he could have pitched in this era.
Yes.
Yo, for sure.
Sure he could have.
So, I mean, he's like, if you're picking big men in basketball, how do you not pick Shaq? They permitted a zone because of Shaq. He would be on that list. That's why Bob Gibson, you can't not pitch him.
Well, first let's focus on number 2 because there's only 2 pitchers that we all have 2 votes, or that there's 2 votes for each. Mariano and Randy.
No. Walter Johnson.
Walter Johnson got 3.
Walter Johnson's already on.
Okay.
So for our second, for second, we got there's 2 Randys and there's 2 Marianos.
Am I the only one who voted Koufax?
No, I voted Koufax.
You guys
Al voted Koufax.
Well, and you guys are the experts, so we're going to have to say yes to that. So I'm giving you guys credit to be the experts.
Koufax.
There were 2 Koufax each. Okay, so Koufax, Randy, and Mariano all have 2 votes each.
Yeah.
Well, I think Walter. I think Koufax. You want to go? You want to do some more stats on Koufax, Bob? You want to keep on going?
That actually pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. He never pitched on Yom Kippur.
Correct.
Okay, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I know.
Did he? The question is, did he fast on Yom Kippur? I'm not sure.
Here's a little story for you because your viewers want a little background, okay? He doesn't pitch on Yom Kippur. So Don Drysdale, no slouch, Cy Young winner in 1962, the number 2 pitcher, he starts game 1 against the Twins, and he gets knocked around. And Walter Alston, the manager, comes out to the mound to take the ball. Drysdale hands it to him and says, "Bet you wish I was Jewish too, don't you?"
Good line.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
All right, we have 2. We have 2.
we're saying, well, we don't really, but I think that we're all feeling comfortable with Koufax. So we got Walter Johnson and Sandy Koufax so far.
Okay.
Mariano, I thought, was on it too.
So we got Johnson, Koufax, and Mariano. Those are the three that are for sure.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So now, as I said to you, Bob, when we started, the fourth is the hardest.
Well, I'm now going to make a case. I was the only one. Who knows how great Satchel Paige was, but he pitched forever. And when he was well into his 40s, he was still effective. When Cleveland brought him up in 1948, not brought him up, brought him in from the Negro Leagues in 1948, pitched into the 1950s. The stories of him in the Negro Leagues and barnstorming against major leaguers. Joe DiMaggio at one point said that Satchel Paige was the best pitcher he ever faced.
I just have no stats on him.
Hey, don't look back. Something can be gaining on you.
Correct.
Remember, that was his phrase.
Correct.
Don't look back. Something could be gaining on you.
Correct.
How can we have a list like this with not a single starter from the steroid era? There's like Clemens, Maddux.
Well, you don't know. You don't know that. I can't even believe we're not picking. I can't even believe Bob Gibson is not on this list.
I said Clemens, and you guys said Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying
I said Greg Maddux.
Take your pick.
For our final four, I'm saying, like, right now we got Walter, we got Koufax, we got Mariano. We don't have a single starter from that era.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't have a list that ends that way.
Well, Bob Gibson's ERA was 2.91. Greg Maddux was 3.16, and Randy's was 3.29. I don't know how you don't pick Bob Gibson.
Well,
I just don't understand.
Gibson pitched.
We don't have the stats on Satchel Paige, so I can't.
No, Gibson was great, and if he's on Mount Rushmore, I'm more than good with it. But he pitched in a more pitcher-friendly era.
He pitched at the high 90s, back in that era, high 90s.
But I think the ERA plus will be a better stat than because it's adjusting for the era.
Yeah, 2.91 is incredible.
That's his ERA.
Yeah.
No, his ERA.
That's his regular ERA.
Yeah. So what are you saying?
I'm saying that Gibson and Koufax, for that matter, pitched in a more pitcher-friendly environment in the 1960s than some environments, including Maddux and Pedro and Clemens and Randy Johnson, who pitched in the steroid era.
They're pitching against Bonds and McGuire. These guys,
and also against DHs, so they don't have a weak spot with the pitcher. And the philosophy had changed a lot, even with middle infielders. Used to be the bottom of the lineup.
Then why would you pick Tom Seaver or any of these guys?
A good fielding middle infielder hit eighth. The pitcher hit ninth.
They changed the game. They moved the mound down. What are we talking about? Am I wrong?
Over me while
Al.
I'm making an astute point.
Al. They changed the game because of this man.
Hold on a second. We need some levity here. So we're talking about Satchel Paige. Don't look back. Something might be gaining on you. But his other great line was, age is a question of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter.
That's
Satchel Paige in. He's in there now. Yeah,
that's like Yogi energy.
All right, so Maddux, Randy Johnson, Bob Gibson,
Pedro,
and Pedro are not in. We're going with Satchel Paige. No. I'm actually okay with that. I gotta look that up. But what?
No way.
You're not gonna pick Satchel Paige?
No way.
Why?
All right, we've got two at least. We got Costas and Emmanuel for Satchel.
Al, I need your support here.
Well, who am I throwing out to put Satchel in?
No, we're not.
Bob Gibson
yet.
Or Randy Johnson.
Or Pedro, or
Pedro.
But somebody's got to get out of the boat. We're putting somebody in the boat. Somebody's got to.
I think either Bob Gibson. It's either Bob Gibson or Satchel Paige who goes up.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I'm okay with Bob Gibson. I'm okay with it.
13 shutouts, 28 complete games. I don't know.
Well, that was that one year.
1 year.
In 1968.
1-1-2. Yeah.
I think it was 1.12 ERA. I mean, the guy was incredible.
All right, but who was the big hero of the World Series that year? St. Louis against Detroit.
Who was it?
Denny McLain won 31 games for Detroit that year. But you know who the big hero was in the World Series? A guy named Mickey Lolich.
Mickey Lolich.
Who's that?
Won 3 games. Mickey Lolich.
Left-hander. Won Game 7 on a complete game on 2 days rest over Gibson.
Yep.
Wow.
I want to think about it this way. If we're drafting a team right now, are you guys picking?
You can't do current. You're affected by current environment. You can't do.
I'm proposing. I'm proposing a hypothetical. All right, hear me out. We're pitching. I mean, we're picking the best pitcher for your Hall of Fame team. You're picking Bob Gibson over Randy, over Pedro, over Clemens, over Maddux. Really?
I would take Bob Gibson. He could pitch in any era. Yes. He was mean, fast. He was incredible.
I'm taking Randy.
I said Clemens.
And Al?
Al, can you straighten this young man out?
Well, I don't know. I'm
I'll go with either Satchel Paige or Bob Gibson.
Gibson.
That's not who we're choosing between already.
Why?
We have much more options.
How did we get here?
You're affected by current standards.
They're better now. They're better. They're better pitchers now. Period. The hitters are better and the pitchers are better.
What did he have? What did he have? 5 Cy Young awards for Randy Johnson? How many did Clemens have?
Clemens had 7.
Yeah, but he also was on the juice. He was on the juice.
And Clemens had 2 crazy peaks.
He was on the juice.
By the way, Nolan Ryan had none. Nolan Ryan never won the Cy Young Award. Neither did Juan Marichal.
And Nolan Ryan also pitched 1 million walks.
Yes, a lot of walks.
He was Clemens was on the roids. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it.
Right,
I'd rather have Satchel Paige.
How about Maddux or Randy or Pedro? Not on roids and pitching against roids.
Good point. Maddux and Pedro, little guys pitching against roided up guys.
All right. Can you two experts pick between those 3? Randy, Bob, Clemens, and Pedro.
Yeah, Randy, Bob, Satchel, or Pedro.
Gibson.
Of that group, I'm partial to Gibson because of my St. Louis background. He was a good friend of mine. Was at his house many times in Omaha. Hit a triple off him in a fantasy game. We have a history.
All right.
By the way, this shows you what these pitchers are like, right? I'm sitting in Gibson's house, and he was a terrific chef. He was nothing like his reputation. He built an elaborate model train thing in his basement with like trellises and terraces and all kinds of stuff. And it was like the tiniest, most minute craftsmanship, and he was a gourmet chef. So we're sitting there and we're watching the Cardinals on TV because Omaha, Nebraska was Cardinal territory. This is sometime in the early 2000s, maybe it's 2005. And in a fantasy game in 1984, Koufax and I were doing the game of the week. It was the Braves against the Cardinals. And it was one of those deals where campers pay like $2,000 to spend the week with former Cardinals as instructors. But the payoff for this one was the game was at Busch Stadium, and they were going to play it after the Braves-Cardinals game. And Gibson was Joe Torre's pitching coach, so he was there. So Gibson's pitching. McCarver was working for the Mets. I forget who was catching. Mike Shannon's at third base. Dal Maxfield at second base. Dal Maxfield shortstop. Red Shanedean second base. I forget who was at first base. Mike Shannon, Kurt Flood, Lou Brock in the outfield. Gibson's pitching. The rule
Don't tell me you got a hit.
The rule was that the campers got 6 outs an inning so that they would all get their at-bats. And the first 6 guys all strike out. And now I lead off in the second inning. I'm playing second base for the campers. And Koufax, a ringer, he's in left field. They found a uniform that fit me. They had a second baseman named Mike Tyson who wore number 13, not to be confused with the boxer. So I'm wearing Tyson's uniform. And I come up, and Gibson may have let up on me a little bit. And the count went to 0-2, 2 swings and misses. And then I hit a line drive into left center field. And on the AstroTurf, Flood and Brock had lost a step, skips all the way to the wall.
Don't tell me, infield home run. Were you that fast?
Triple. Okay, so now 2 things, all right? I run into him about a year later at some charity banquet. I come up to him at the cocktail party. I go, Bob, good to see you. He goes, you little SOB. If you'd come up again, I was going to knock you on your ass.
Exactly.
Okay,
he was mean as fuck.
Now this is he was just upholding.
Wasn't he mean on the plate? He was mean.
Oh my gosh, was he mean? Yeah. Look, you want stories? The second to last batter he ever faced was Pete LeCoq. Pete Marshall's son, Hollywood Squares host. Pete Lecoq hit a grand slam home run off Gibson. Shane just didn't want to take him out of the game. He was 40 years old. He got the next guy out, and that was the last inning he ever pitched in the major leagues. 10 years later, Lecoq comes up in an old-timers game at Wrigley Field. Gibson is pitching, and Gibson hit him just to balance the scales. So now to conclude this story where it started, we're in Gibson's house in Omaha, 25 years after the incident where I hit the triple somehow in the fantasy game, and somehow that comes up, and I go, Bob, you just threw me a batting practice fastball. He goes, oh no, slider, thigh high. You hit the crap out of it. How does he remember that he threw me a slider in a freaking
Ben and I always ask, how the hell do you two always remember every story?
Hold on. So Bob Gibson retires after the 1975 season.
Correct.
1976, ABC starts Monday Night Baseball. I'm doing the San Francisco Giants, but they let me off on Mondays, and I do the second game on Monday Night Baseball. My partners are the recently retired Norm Cash from the Detroit Tigers. Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson is now my broadcast partner a year after he retires. Okay. So he was a lot of fun to work with. He was a good guy. He was very interested in getting better every week, and I'm trying to work with him. And he got better and better. We're in Pittsburgh in August of 76. The Dodgers are playing the Pirates early August. John Candelaria pitches a no-hitter for the Pirates against the Dodgers. Cash stays with me in the booth in the ninth inning. They send Gibson down to interview Candelaria in case he pitches the no-hitter, which he does. Gibson is now, he's never done an interview where he was the interviewer. First question to Candelaria, do you think this will get you a new contract?
Wow. That was fun.
That was Gibby. Good man. Good man.
So, see, Ben, we're going to put him on. Are we going to put him on, guys?
Hell yes.
All right, so our final four are Walter Johnson, Sandy Koufax, Mariano Rivera, and Bob Gibson.
Yeah. That's a great list.
Right. Now, okay? And please keep this in, because people will say, you'll get these comments, what about this, what about that? Here are the people, none of whom would lower the quality if they were on there. Cy Young, Christy Mathewson, Lefty Grove, Bob Feller, Satchel Paige, Warren Spahn, Tom Seaver, Juan Marichal, Steve Carlton, Greg Maddux, Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez, Clayton Kershaw.
Randy Johnson, you forgot. Yeah.
Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
Jim Palmer.
And Jim Palmer.
I didn't even think of Jim Palmer.
That's how loaded this field is.
Yeah.
Incredibly challenging Rushmore.
So, the next Rushmore we got to do from 2015 to now on pitchers and put that would
so
be
a bullpen. It's a bullpen thing now.
Well, you can still do Kershaw, Verlander, Scherzer, kind of leftover guys.
There it is. We've already done the next podcast.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
That's
Have
it.
a happy. We're done. We did an hour. Happy and a healthy.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you guys keep on talking, which I love.